Hello, today we're going to be talking about drunk driving. First, we're going to go over some of the consequences, problems, facts, and lastly, we're going to go over some of the solutions. First, we're going to talk about consequences. Driving while either intoxicated or drunk is dangerous, and drivers with a high blood alcohol content or concentration, BAC, have a greatly increased risk of car accidents, highway injuries, and vehicular deaths. Possible prevention measures are to include the establishment of DWI courts, suspending or revoking of driver's licenses, impounding or confiscating vehicle plates, impounding or immobilizing vehicles, enforcing open container bans, increasing penalties such as fines or jail for drunk driving, and mandating alcohol education. Now we're going to discuss how the police will determine if you are over the limit. Law enforcement officers will first determine the driver's blood alcohol concentration through a breath, blood, or urine test. A breath scan kit is usually the quickest way for police to take an accurate measure of the driver's BAC. If a drinking driver's BAC is over the limit of .08, the driver's license may be suspended or revoked for anywhere from a week to a year. Vehicle sanctions may require the offender's car include a special marked license plate or even an interlock device that prevents the car from starting unless the driver passes a breath scan test. The car may even be impounded, confiscated, or sold. A convicted drunk driver also faces fines, sometimes in the thousands of dollars, jail time, increased insurance cost, attorney fees, court cost, lost time from work, and other penalties that vary from state to state. Now we're going to talk about some of the major problems with drinking and driving. Every single injury and death caused by drunk driving is totally preventable. Although the proportion of crashes that are alcohol-related has dropped dramatically in recent decades, there are still far too many such preventable accidents. Unfortunately, in spite of great progress, alcohol-impaired driving remains a serious national problem that tragically affects many victims annually. More and more people need to step up to the plate and just know when to say, "It's not okay for me to drive right now." Now we're going to get in some of the major facts about drinking and driving. Most drivers who have had something to drink have low blood alcohol content or concentration, and few are involved in fatal crashes. On the other hand, while only a few drivers have BACs higher than .15, a much higher proportion of those drivers have fatal crashes. The BAC among fatal injury drinking drivers is .16. The relative risk of deaths for drinking in a single vehicle crash with a BAC is 385 times higher than that of a zero BAC driver. For male drivers, the risk is 707 times that of a sober driver, according to estimate by the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety, or IHHS. The BAC driver tends to be male, aged 20 to 35, and have a history of DWI conviction and polydrug abuse. Here are some of the stats that are faced with drinking and driving. Half of all holiday drivers' fatality are alcohol-related. About 80% of alcohol-related fatalities are caused by beer consumption. 80 to 20-year-olds are responsible for more than 10% of the drinking driving tips in America. This list is endless, and the only way that the stats are going to go down is if everyone helps stop people from drinking and driving intoxicated. Now we're going to get into some of the solutions. Some solutions for helping death toll for people who drink and drive are very simple. The problem is that though these things are very simple to accomplish, many people decide not to do them. For instance, always have a designated driver. Make sure when you arrive at a party or a club and you don't have someone to drive you home, hand off your keys. So when you get intoxicated and want to leave the club or bar, the person with the keys will not give them to you. And lastly, never go without a plan. There is always someone you can call. These are just a few things you can do to help prevent DUIs, DWIs, and help prevent you from killing someone. Today we have discussed many of the facts and consequences about drinking and driving. As you can tell, drinking and driving is 100% preventable. You just have to step up and take charge. Every time you go out to a bar or a club and decide you want to drink and drive, just think about your family and friends. You would not want anyone to kill them, or for you to kill someone else's friends or family. Also, no one wants that on their conscience, because if you think that it will not happen to you, the facts are there to look at. It's just not worth it. Thank you for your time. If you have any other questions, please contact me as soon as possible. Thank you very much.